Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
We Amish, we demand more of ourselves. You people work 8-hour days, we work 12. We do whatever you people do plus a half. That's how we survive.
Believe me, keeping up is not going to be a problem.
Pa! His bed's made, but he isn't in there. He must have left.
Guess Brother Hezekiah was afraid of getting his fingers dirty.
Morning! Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I got up a little early, so I took the liberty of milking your cow for you. Yeah, it took a little while to get her warmed up. She sure is a stubborn one. Then, pow, all at once.
We don't have a cow. We have a bull.
I'll brush my teeth.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Have you tried anything yet?
no, I really haven't.
I've heard like your nicknames.
The
like,
AKAs.
Yeah, the AKAs.
I get a bunch of those that I don't even use. I came up with so many because there's other podcasts I really like.
Yeah.
Like there's 3 guys and they all have a bunch of them, but it's all like nerd-based stuff.
Yeah, so you're like, I gotta come up with
I know.
something.
I came up with a bunch, but it's like it seems kind of out of place on this.
Also known as, this is the first time anyone's ever heard this.
Yeah. I'm basically giving myself a nickname, which is the douchiest thing you could do.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, what's really douchier than that?
I don't know, man.
I mean, it's like laughing at your own jokes, like being the hardest one to laugh.
Yeah, I'm just a giant douche then. I always laugh at my own jokes.
Well, it's like when you laugh and you don't give anybody else a chance to laugh first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I say? I crack myself up. My wife just like looks at me and shakes her head. And she's just like, that is so stupid.
Yeah.
That is so dumb.
I
And,
feel-
or she's like, what movie is that from?
Uh,
And I'm just like, sometimes I come up with funny things on my own. Sometimes.
it's amazing how many times in my life I get that. Like Drew, I mean, after all these years, after almost 30 years of friendship, he just basically assumes that nothing I say is my own.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair assumption, to be fair.
I mean, it is, but shit, man, don't be a dick.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
just laugh at the joke, make me feel good, and then
Yeah.
I'll tell you if I feel you deserve it.
Ask me later, like when we have to go to the bathroom or something. Like, oh, by the way, who said that shit?
Yeah.
No, it was me, man.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, hey, good on you. Yeah, I've been practicing. All right. Well, we're in already. So,
Sweet.
welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B., a.k.a. Saruman the White Boy, a.k.a. Oroku Saki Bomb, a.k.a. Pimp Hand of the King. I'm here with my good friend, Brian P.
Hello.
Brian, returning guest.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
Second time.
You're a vet now.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great.
Are you feeling good? How you been, man?
I've been feeling good, man. Now I'm trying to think of an AKA for myself. AKA Banana Boy. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll work on it.
I like bananas. I don't.
I feel like it's kind of got the wrong connection. You know what I mean?
What? It connects bananas and me, and I love bananas. I don't get the connection.
All right. So, Brian, I got you here, man.
Yeah, dude.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. I don't see you often enough.
Well, it's weird because it's like I find that people that you're in bands with, oftentimes, like when the band breaks up, it's hard to keep that connection, especially when now we're at the age where we're not just going out to bars all the time.
Yeah.
Like when it first ended, I feel like I didn't see you that much.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you exist outside of the band? That's
Well, you guys left after me.
Yes, unfortunately.
How long were you in before you quit? Like, because I left in December.
Well, I never actually quit. I was fired, but I was thinking about quitting. So that was probably like a couple months. I mean, it really wasn't that long, I don't think. But I mean, my timeline from that period is just so
foggy.
Oh my god, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's not like I was drinking. I don't know. I'm forgetful, I guess.
It happens.
Move on, you know. But yeah.
Well, it's good you had your life together, man.
Yeah, I try,
You're a
dude.
functioning adult now.
I try. It's weird. It's weird, but it feels good.
Weird how? Like in what sense?
I don't know. I never saw myself where I am in life now, and it's not a bad thing. I've never been happier, but
Married man.
yep, married. Been with Nicole for 10 years now, pretty much.
As a matter of fact, that band is the reason you guys met.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I knew there was a reason.
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason I messed around with that band. I kind of have Drew to thank for that. He thought up that whole crazy idea.
Oh, I mean, there was 2 of us.
That's true.
You came up with a name, so there's 3 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there were 3.
Yeah, we dived into that last time, the whole guy who names the band thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't want to touch on the same shit again.
No, it's not true.
So, you're a cop now.
Yes, I am.
I gotta be honest, dude, that's the weirdest shit in the world.
It's been almost 5 years now. And honestly, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, it's weird because you're also, like me, you've worked a lot of odd jobs in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've definitely worked some weird things, and it's weird the ones that we actually end up settling on. Like, I mean, I never thought I would become an electrician. I had no idea what I was going to be. I was going to go to school for, like, linguistics. And I was going to, just learning about foreign languages and, like, really delving into how language itself works. And here I am.
What, you gonna be like an
wiring
interpreter?
Apartments. Anything. I was going to go into the Marines at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
I'm not cut out for that.
Yeah.
I like mentally. I have this weird thing in my brain where if someone tells me, "Hey, you can't do that," I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I have to do it now, right?" It's almost like a defiance.
Sure.
That I can't shake, and my wife calls me out on it all the time.
You got to prove to yourself and or everybody else.
Well, it's more of an idea where it's like, you're not the boss of me.
Okay.
Like, you want me to do it. Now I don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
I'm similar in that if I get an idea in my head, like I'm going to do something, there's nothing that's going to stop me. And I mean, it's kind of a detriment because you can't even really talk to me when it's going on. Like, I'm kind of a pain in the ass. Like, all right, dude, like lay off, like whatever it is you're trying to do. It works out in some cases, but personally, I'm probably not the most fun to talk to when it's going on. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have a lot of weird quirks like that.
I think we all do, man.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that makes us friends.
Yeah, I like it.
What are some of like the weirdest jobs you've worked at? I worked a lot when I was young. Like, my dad got me these weird jobs because he worked odd jobs too.
Yeah.
Like, my biological father, he owned the martial arts dojo. You met my dad.
Yes,
sometimes.
yes, I have. He showed me his secret room.
Yeah, he's a gun guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he worked a lot of odd jobs because he had his dojo that was just pretty much in the evenings and on the weekends. So during the week, he always worked a regular full, like a 9 to 5, just to to supplement whatever. Because the dojo, it was more of a passion than it was something that paid the bills.
Right.
So he worked all these, like a weird place where it was like a steel fabrication plant where they made stuff out of steel. They made like staircases and like mezzanines out of steel, and he got me a job there for a summer.
Doing what?
I worked in like in the shipping department, so they would make all this stuff, and we would have to like stack it up on skids,
that sounds
wrap
about
it,
right.
and ship it out. Deal with all the different carriers, the trucks that would come in, like DHL and A. Dewey Pile, all those different shipping companies.
Yeah.
And before that, we worked at a place that was a printing press, like a big company that they printed out like brochures and pamphlets and stuff. And we did the same thing there.
Yeah.
And then he worked at a place that made like water purification systems.
Ooh.
It's like all like you see like water towers and like water purification plants, all the guts to all those parts and all the tiny little things that you don't even see.
Mm-hmm.
They made those, and I again worked in the shipping department.
Oddly specific.
Apparently I like to ship shit out.
Yeah, I did definitely a lot of odd jobs. My buddy's grandparents in high school, they like owned, I believe it was like a temp agency. So they would send us to all kinds of weird shit. They sent us one time to like this government, like when they repossess stuff.
Okay.
Like that warehouse where all that shit eventually goes. So there's like Maseratis and like, and we were just like unloading shoes off a trailer. Yeah, weird jobs like that. We always showed up to just random stuff all over the state, and then you get a check like a month later for that one day you worked randomly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I worked all kinds of part-time jobs through school, especially when we were doing the band stuff. I would buy and sell things on Craigslist. That was like my main jam for a while. I'd look around the house and be like, what can I sell? You know, we got to go to Florida. I think I could sell some DVDs on Craigslist.
You think about like all the random people you met doing these jobs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously working in blue collar jobs and like not factories, but just, you know, businesses and big plants and warehouses and stuff. Dude, I met some fucking characters.
Sure.
It's amazing. Like just some of the people.
You wonder like what their like everyday life is. Like, is this their main shtick, or are they like doing something else?
I don't know. All I know is one place, the steel place I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy that worked there for maybe like a couple weeks, and he used to wear. Like, he would show up with like the real, like gold glasses. You know, like the rims of the glasses were gold.
Sure.
And he had like a do rag that had $100 bills on it.
Nice.
And I'm like, man, this guy must really.
This guy has some style.
I mean, I was like a kid. I was like, this guy's really doing something with himself. This guy's got he's got the plan. I should talk to him more. And it was like I swear the guy was like 40 years old.
I don't know much. I know this guy's doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, shit, $100 bills on a do rag.
Yeah, that's no joke. You don't fuck around with that.
Oh no, I mean, this guy was serious.
Yeah,
he's a really cool guy. But I was a
I
kid.
bet.
I was a teenager, and he's a 40-year-old dude. I think he lived in like Philly, and next thing you know, we bonded over Dragon Ball Z.
That is very random.
Well, one thing I have noticed is some of the biggest anime fans I've ever met in my life have been black guys.
I didn't realize you were an anime fan.
I'm not that heavy into it. I was for a minute, but
because I know you're a movie guy like me, but I'm curious where like your love of movies started.
Probably through my dad, like the quoting movies that I do.
That's interesting.
Because
I'll tell you why in a minute, but I want to hear.
My dad, when you were at his house, did you notice the giant wall of DVDs he had?
That I don't remember.
Yeah, no,
I remember his basement, and I remember his secret room that he showed me. Like
all this stuff was in the basement.
Right.
In the one side of the basement, it was a giant. It was like, you ever see like a bookshelf that takes up an entire wall?
Yeah.
And they have like the section in it for like a TV or whatever.
Yes.
He had that, but instead of books, it was all DVDs.
Okay. So he was a giant movie buff.
He was a movie buff, and he's the reason why I quote stuff all the time. It's more of like a genetic thing.
Is that like what he did too?
He always did that. He didn't quote them as accurately as I do.
Okay.
He wasn't as much of a snob about it as me. But I think that's where that comes from.
Interesting.
That's like one of the things where I'm like, I guess I don't mind having that little piece of him.
Now, how long was were your folks together that you guys were like?
So my mom and dad, they were like 22 when my mom got pregnant with me, and they weren't married yet.
Okay.
And then they got married, had me, and then they were together for maybe 3 years total, because then right after I was born, my mom got pregnant with my sister.
Right.
And then they had her, and then it wasn't long after that, after she was born, that they split. So
okay.
I think it was maybe 3, maybe 4 years.
Did you see your dad a lot post-divorce?
Yeah, so at first, he only lived in like the next apartment complex over. So we saw him relatively often. My grandparents lived close, so they used to babysit me and my sister. And then it became like every other weekend. That was the regular schedule all the way up until high school.
And did you guys like watch a lot of movies together? Was that kind of like one of the things you did?
Always.
Now, was it movies that you wanted to see, or was it movies that
I had zero choice in this.
You had no choice.
No choice.
He just you got to see this movie.
You think I wanted to watch Leprechaun?
I don't know.
As a child,
Jennifer Aniston is very fine in that movie.
Listen, I didn't know who Jennifer Aniston was. I didn't know I didn't know the concept of sex yet. Like, I was young.
Sure.
Sure. And we watched that. That haunted me until my late 20s.
It was kind of a terrifying movie, especially for a kid. I watched that as a kid as well, and I was fucking terrified. That basement scene in the beginning with the old people.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrifying. Very funny, man. You and I actually, I don't even know that we've known each other for, what, 15 years maybe?
It's quite some time now.
A little over a decade. I don't think we've ever talked about this.
Well, I know you and your dad. Your dad didn't live close by, right?
No, he lived in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Still does. But we have a very similar story in that my mom got pregnant with me, and she was 18. I think my dad was 20, something like that. They weren't married, got pregnant with me. They got married. They were only together maybe 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad obviously went back to Pittsburgh, so I only saw him, every now and then growing up. But one of the things that we always did was watch movies, and just like you, I didn't select the movies. I'd be watching fucking Leprechaun, and then Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I have no idea what the hell's going on, but
I saw that as a kid too.
Yeah,
I was like, Dad, what are they doing in the dugout?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh my God, I knew I was excited. I knew I had no idea what was going on. Didn't know if it was weird that I was watching this with my father.
Yeah,
but yeah, we watched movies together. That was like our thing, and that's probably like where I get it from,
Well, here's actually something you might not realize. You told me this a while ago, how you and your dad, you would make movies when you were a little kid.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's what inspired me to start doing it with Tyler.
Really?
100%, dude.
Did I ever show you the Super Brian tapes?
You never showed them to me, but you described them to me.
Oh my God. They are so I was just watching them actually a couple weeks ago because I have it on DVD now. And so like we had some family over the house, so we brought out some old movies, and they hold up, man, surprisingly.
Well, it's just funny when there's a little kid involved. I feel like they're timeless at that point.
Yeah, well, he was definitely young and very immature. I'm sure from what I've seen on the internet, what you post, your home movies are like much better than what we did.
Really?
Yeah. All of our home movies were kind of like at my expense and my dad being immature. But basically the genesis of it, I mean, it was called Super Brian, and he would just put me in like ridiculous situations that I would get hurt, and then he would like I'm like 3 years old. He would stuff my clothes and put a dummy like, oh, Super Brian's going to stop this car in its tracks. And the car, he'd get a shot of the car coming at me. And then the next shot, it'd be me in like a dummy suit, and the car just runs me over. And he's like, oh no, Super Brian, no. And it's a bunch of shit like that, man. But
when you were a kid making them, was it fun?
I have no memory of it whatsoever.
Really?
I mean, I had to have been 3, maybe 4.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I was like talking really.
Gotcha. At 3 and 4?
I mean, maybe I was. What the fuck do you say at 3 or 4? Hey, man.
Poop.
I wipe my own ass.
Me too.
30 packets of ketchup.
We just watched that.
Did you really?
Last Father's Day, actually. My wife,
that's a great Father's Day movie.
A perfect one.
Excellent choice.
My wife and her parents have never seen that, but I always quote it. Mm-hmm. So every time, like I say something to my wife when we would be on the phone before she lived up here, like I would say something and she'd be, really? I'd be, you calling me a liar? And I finally got to show her where that comes from.
Oh, that's great.
So is your dad still around? Like, where is he now?
He is. He's out in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but he's definitely struggling now. So
yeah.
We don't have a tight relationship. I had probably maybe 5 to 6 good years with him, like throughout like my teenage years. He started a family out there, had 4 kids, and he was doing well for a while, but he struggles with alcohol. And now it's just, it's kind of hard to talk to him, so
Yeah.
it's definitely very sad to see where he's at now. We don't always get to check in with each other and whatnot, but that movie thing, that's stuck, you know what I mean? It's like, that's one of the things we'll always kind of have.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully he comes out of this. He's been struggling a couple years now, but, we kind of always have that one thing,
Well, there's not any bad blood there, is there?
No, not at all. He never did any one thing. It's just one of those things where, he is kind of destroying himself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Got divorced, lost the house, like, kind of lost everything over it, and now, I only hear from him every couple of months, always on like a different phone number,
geez.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. So, I feel for him. He's my dad, but he's 6.5 hours away, and
It's not that easy to just, go up there and pull him out of the slump.
Exactly. And when I do see him, it's just,
Yeah, I haven't talked to my dad since 2015.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
It's been a while.
I've heard you brought it up a couple times on the podcast and stuff, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's funky because I have, obviously my sister, my full-blooded sister, with the
Right.
same mom and dad.
Right.
But I have also on that side, I have 4 half sisters.
Yeah, so big family.
Yeah, and you've met my sisters.
Yes.
So, and even that's complicated because out of those 4, I really only get to talk to one of them.
Do any of them still have a relationship with your dad?
So the youngest 2, yes, because they still live with him, because they're not even 18 yet.
Oh, okay, wow.
And then, so the oldest of them she never even met him because her mom and him, they split before she was even born. And then the next one is my sister Lexi, who she doesn't speak with him either. She lives out in Europe. She's friggin' living her best life out there. She just sent me pictures. She was at the Amalfi Coast. She's really
Tearing it up.
she's thriving out there.
I love it.
She's doing great.
That's
so
awesome.
shout out to her. I don't know if she's going to listen to this, but I don't think any of my sisters actually listen to this.
No? Do they know
Nah.
about it?
Then they know about it, but well, obviously the little ones don't.
Gotcha.
So it's weird, and
Yeah.
like,
There are 2 types of people in this world: those who listen to podcasts and those who don't.
yeah. It's in terms of people that listen. I called out Drew while I was at the dinner with him and Allison last night. I was like, he's like, yeah, I don't really listen. I'm like, bro, I know you don't listen. I know none of my closest friends listen to the podcast.
I listen. I love it. The show's been getting really good, dude. Like, by the way, not to get off on a tangent about that, but the show's excellent.
Oh, thank you, man.
All I do is listen to podcasts now, and yours is always something I look forward to. It's always in my rotation. And yeah, man, it's just getting quality. I really hope you keep doing it.
I really want to keep doing it. Thank you, by the way. That means a lot because I'm still like, there's not that much feedback yet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching the numbers of downloads and everything, and they keep going up, little by little, but they're going the right direction.
Right.
And
so people are listening, maybe
there's-
just
yeah.
not like interacting.
Yeah, that's why I want to get more interaction.
Sure.
So that feedback means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I really love doing this.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's just, it's my hobby. That's one of the things I was talking about with Drew last night. When I got married, I went from being single, living on my own for like almost 10 years, to having a wife, a son, and my in-laws all living under the same roof with me. So it changed my day-to-day quite a bit.
Yeah, a little
So
bit.
It's not that easy to just, if everybody's going out to the bar and say, oh, yeah, let's just go right now, at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Because maybe we were out doing stuff all day and I'm tired, or maybe I feel bad leaving Tyler here without us.
Sure.
So it's hard for me to get out and still maintain the social life that I used to. Excuse me. So with this is kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Right? I get to see people that I like and have them over and have conversations.
Yeah,
which is
interesting conversations.
Yeah, it's essentially
that,
what you're going to be doing out at the bar anyway.
Right.
You can still have drinks here too.
Sure.
So, and also I get to, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want to here.
Yeah.
If there's something on my mind, like something like an issue I feel like discussing, I could have somebody in here maybe who knows a lot about that. And so let's
It's
let's
like
dig in on
free
something.
therapy for yourself,
Kind of, yeah. And it's cool. I get to have my wife on here. She's honestly, I couldn't be happier. She's been so supportive of the whole thing.
That's so awesome.
I couldn't do it without
Yeah, you need
her.
that.
Yeah.
You need that support too. You need to have
Absolutely.
everyone's blessing.
So that's been big. But yeah, it's just, this is a chance for me to do something other than comment on shit on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Sure.
'Cause
That's
I
just a
don't-
rabbit hole.
Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole for like a good year.
And you're not
year
being
and a half.
productive. You're not really
You're not-
contributing anything.
Yeah, you're not
It's just
accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
I had this really strongly worded comment, and I got 100 likes on it. Oh my god!
Been working on this comment for a fucking half an hour.
Yeah.
Think it's real good. It's gonna show.
Well, it's fucked up because now with like I said, trying to do like marketing basically on Instagram for this, because that's really where you get the most traction.
Yeah,
and
I'm
everything.
just discovering Instagram. Actually, it's kind of fun. I like Instagram.
Out of all of those social media apps, I think that's the best one.
Yeah.
And I guess probably in my experience the least toxic, because Twitter's just a cesspool.
Sure.
Facebook was ruined by older people, like baby boomers got on
Yes.
there and ruined it.
Yeah, like people like my mom's age, like
Yeah.
the 40 to like 50 crowd. Oh, it's so hilarious to
The
watch.
people
them
that
on
have to
Facebook.
ask you, like, well, so how do I post this?
Yep.
And these are the people that actually, like, when they get Facebook, they send you a poke. It's like, nobody does that. Why is that feature even there?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's actually kind of creepy.
It's really
if somebody
weird.
pokes you in real life, you're just like,
Yeah.
why are you poking me?
It's weird in real life and it's weird online.
Yeah, it may be weirder online. I don't know.
Probably because you have to like verbalize it.
Yeah. Yeah, in real life, you're not being like, hey, I'm poking you.
Yeah. But yeah, this is just It's like my therapy. I feel a little more productive.
Yeah.
I'm like creating something.
Yep.
And maybe when this little guy gets older one day, he might go back.
Be a part of it, or
well, that too. But I mean, even if you wanted to go back and listen and see what the hell
oh, sure, yeah,
his
it's like
dad was all about.
It's like a snapshot in time. You know,
it's like a diary for him to go back and read if you wanted to.
That's true. Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something you'll always have too. You know.
Definitely. Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
No.
Oh, well, there was in the first couple seasons, like the main character, his dad had passed away. His dad was the founder of the MC, the motorcycle club.
Okay, yeah.
And he, after his dad died, like he went back and found all his old diaries and was reading it to try to get inside his dad's head and see what he was all about. And I was like, yeah, this would be a good idea for something like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. But
yeah, podcasts are where it's at now, man.
it's getting flooded.
It is. It does seem a little oversaturated.
Yeah.
But
that's starting to worry me.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think quality content finds its listeners. You know what I mean?
I sure hope so.
If you put out something that you're passionate and you believe in, and honestly, if you just keep doing what you're doing now, I don't think you can go wrong.
Well, hopefully. At the end of the day, even if nobody else listens, even if I don't grow any more from right here, I'd still be happy.
Yeah.
Because it's just fun to do.
Yeah, you're doing it, you love it, and then that's all that matters.
It takes a lot of time, though.
Does it?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to like edit an episode?
To edit everything now with this new computer, it takes a fraction of what it took before.
Really?
Yeah. Like my wife, for Father's Day, she got me this brand new MacBook.
Ooh, very nice.
So she hooked me up. Like I said, super supportive.
Okay.
So yeah, it really, to edit everything maybe takes a half an hour.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so what I do is I edit, I put all the filters and compressors and everything in.
Right.
And then I send it to my phone so I could listen to it the next day and go back and make notes, or at 57:15 go back and edit here, or this might be something I could use for a clip, something like that. And then I go back the next day and I make all the adjustments.
Right.
And then that's pretty much it.
But probably all your like posting and stuff takes.
The social media accounts take a lot of time.
Yeah, but that's like what you got to do now. You
You
know
have
what I mean?
to. I mean, if your goal is to grow,
Yeah.
that's really the only way.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I have some kind of platform other than this.
Sure.
I'm not on TV, I'm not on the radio, or I'm not featured on other people's stuff really so much. So I got to do something to get the name out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's been taking a lot of time, because one of the things, if you really get into it, the algorithms for Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff.
Sure.
You have to learn about how they work, so certain, which hashtags would be most beneficial to what you're posting.
Right, like what time of day to post.
Exactly, that's a big
all that
one.
stuff. Yeah.
So I actually got a thing where it can time your posts. So I could schedule a post for, whenever.
Oh, is that like through Instagram, or is that
it's
like...
a separate app that links within Instagram.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could do that, but I'm still learning all that stuff because like I just made, I play in a band now, so I just made an Instagram for it. So
Shout out Seconds to Say.
There you go. So I'm just trying to figure out like how to do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's something I got to get good at.
It's so much work, man.
Yeah, it's cool though. Like I like browsing through Instagram and seeing what people are posting and stuff, and seeing what's going on. And maybe one day I'll kind of crack the code.
Yeah, I mean, if you really feel like dedicating the time.
Not really, but I mean, I'll dedicate some time to it. I feel like it's stupid not to have one. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
The other thing, doing like the artwork and stuff for this.
Yeah.
Because now, like.
Yeah, your artwork's pretty good too. Are you doing that yourself?
In terms of pretty much everything is
like
my
the
own.
logos.
The logos is all. Yeah, I made all that myself.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And now I started making like memes myself.
You're making your own memes?
Yeah. Yeah, some of them get some traction.
Nice. I don't know how you follow that stuff though. You know what I mean? Like if a meme like spreads or goes viral, like how do you know that it's like yours?
Well,
because don't they have like a lot of like repeat memes too?
Well, most people, like actual people that make memes, they put watermarks on it or some kind of tag, like a signature kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So you're doing that?
Yeah.
Shit
So
too.
like if you look at the videos I posted with Tyler, I added a watermark.
Okay.
So you could even if somebody steals it and doesn't give us credit, it still shows up with the watermark.
Yeah,
so
you can't take away that watermark. That's awesome.
So, yeah, because I mean that's been a big thing too. If you follow any of the like internet news, like people stealing memes and stealing jokes, there's all kinds of stuff.
Stealing jokes is like that's been going on a long time.
Yeah, especially in the world of stand-up comedians.
Sure.
Like I know there was a big thing with Conan O'Brien's show a few years back, where they were accused of stealing jokes from other other people.
Oh, really?
It was like,
I didn't hear about Conan. I've heard like Carlos Mencia, I think.
well, that was a big one. He was stealing other comedians' joke, and he got
That was
called out by
legit?
Joe
That was-
Rogan.
okay.
That happened.
Okay.
So I really kind of like ruined his career.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I haven't heard from him in a long time. South Park, I think, made fun of it too. But
You can watch the actual the incident because it was at the Comedy Store.
oh, it was like a specific incident.
Yeah, when Joe Rogan literally got on stage and called him out for being
Did
a
he
joke thief.
steal one of Joe Rogan's jokes?
I don't know
Or
if- I
Joe
know he
Rogan
stole
just
a
put
lot
it
of other
together?
comedians that were at the Comedy Store, like Ari
Really?
Shaffir, I think Steve Rannazzisi. There was a few people that he was caught word for word stealing jokes.
Oh my god.
Like he
that's no
stole
good.
jokes that were in Ari Shaffir's special.
Really?
Yeah, like his recorded Comedy Central special.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like you think like if anybody's gonna catch that, comedians are gonna catch it.
Yeah, right. They're probably watching your set more closely than like any of your fans are.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
This, Mark Maron had his TV show for a while,
Yeah.
and then he had an episode where he was on Conan, and he made a joke, and then after he finished, he was like, "Man, I don't know where I came up with that." And it turns out it was somebody else's joke, and Bill Burr, like, he was interviewing Bill Burr, and then when they were finished, they were walking out, and he's like, "Hey, do you know this line?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's Bobby Mendez said that." Congratulations. And he was just congratulating him on calling out joke thieves. And he's like, "Ah, shit, man." And in the show, the character who he accidentally stole from, because he didn't mean to,
Right.
and it ended up being Joey Diaz.
Okay.
And he ended up having to let him stay with him for a while. And he was all like fresh out of jail. It's all coked up and stuff.
That's awesome.
So that's gotta be tricky, man, because after all these years of so many people just telling jokes.
Yeah. You ever thought about doing stand up?
Oh yeah, I thought about it when I was younger. I'm not.
You wouldn't do it now?
So
That's a long pause. You've given this some thought.
here's my reasoning for this. After listening to as many podcasts as I do, especially from so many stand-ups, you listen to like Bill Burr, Joey Diaz, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, all these guys.
Yeah.
And they all like so many stories they tell just about being on the road, and
Yeah, you definitely get an inside feel of what it's like,
I think it's too
what it
late
takes to get good at,
Yeah, it's a little too late in the game for me right now, especially now with having a family. You got to do that and have no attachments. You
Yeah,
gotta
I
be able to
agree.
just
That's kind of like
cut
if
everything
you're
loose.
going for the band thing too.
Yeah.
I don't know how you have like any sort of normal life unless you're just going.
You
If
can't.
you're going for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing it as a hobby, maybe, but like, especially in the case of stand-up comedy, like, are you really going to be any good if you're just doing it as a hobby? You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, you have to go 100%.
Yeah, I think especially with that. I mean, I don't know. I've never tried it. Nicole actually, my wife Nicole, she actually did stand-up once.
Yeah, like an open mic.
I don't know what it was. I have to ask her. She took a class in college when, and like the point of the class was you had to like do like a stand-up thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, she was like a theater major in school, so. And I actually saw a video of it. She was not bad.
Really?
She was pretty damn good. Yeah. I can't. They went to like some like famous comedy club in New York when like the class was done, and she did a full set. I think it was maybe like 15 minutes or something like that. She did phenomenal. I mean,
Wow.
she was actually really good. It was very intimidating to watch. I like saw a whole like new side of her. I mean, she's very funny, like in general.
She's also somebody who can be on stage with a microphone. She was, a singer in a band. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she did a bunch of plays and stuff. She
Yeah,
was
you would
definitely
think
very comfortable on stage.
she would
But
take to it like a duck to water.
to see her in that setting was pretty wild. I mean, this is long before we dated, but yeah, it was pretty wild watching it for sure. She could do it if she wanted to, but I don't think she'd want to.
Are you a big fan of stand-up?
Yeah, I don't define big fan.
I don't know. Like, do you like stand-up? Do you follow stand-up? Do you go
I don't
see
really
shows
I don't really
live?
follow it. I'll go to the Stress Factory every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I think I last saw Sean Wayne's there.
Okay, he's actually coming back there.
Yeah,
I just saw an ad. For
He's
him.
pretty good. He's just a funny guy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like a traditional like stand-up. He's just a fucking hilarious dude. His niece, I forget what the hell her name is. She is hilarious. She opened for him.
Mm-hmm.
She's just another one of the Wayne's clan.
There's so many.
Oh, dude, I know. It's crazy. She's pretty young, too. She's like, I want to say like 25, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. She's very, very funny. I saw Jim Brewer there. You know who I'm getting into right now? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's D'Elia. Chris D'Elia.
Chris D'Elia, yeah.
Dude, he is so funny.
He's huge now.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah.
I'd love to go see him live.
Do you listen to his show?
No,
He's
I
got
didn't
a
even know he had a
It's
podcast.
called Congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just him.
Is it good?
I've not really gotten that much into it. I know
Okay.
him and Theo Vaughn are friends.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll actually like switch. They'll host each other's podcasts.
Okay.
But
I just love his stand-up so much. I mean, I don't know. I hope it doesn't ruin it for me, you know?
no, if you like his stand up, you'll enjoy the podcast. Like if you just like him, like, he's kind of like a dick. You know what I mean? Like he plays everything very aloof, and I mean it's very popular. A lot of people really like it.
Yeah. He's probably one of my favorites right now.
I think stand-ups a lot of times make some of the most successful podcasts.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because he's got a big one, Theo Vaughn, Andrew Santino, a lot of like that whole crew from like the West Coast guys from the Comedy Store.
Right.
And then there's like the East Coast guys. You have like Andrew Schultz has Brilliant Idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Dillon, Jim Norton has his one, Chip Chipperson.
Okay.
It's like a character he plays.
Okay.
It's ridiculous, but it's not bad.
Yeah, and obviously like Joe Rogan is like popular as shit.
Rogan has like the #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah. And for good reason too. I think it's a good show.
I like his stuff because it's all over the place. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he has like a very like wide variety of guests and topics. I mean, he'll talk about anything that he finds interesting.
Did you hear the recent one he had with the UFO guys?
No, I downloaded it though because I love that shit. I love UFOs.
You got to listen to the one he did with Miss Pat.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Because I like what like Joe Rogan has to say on that stuff because he's very skeptical, but he wants it to be real. You know what I mean? Like
he's right up front about it.
He's so into it. He fucking loves that shit, but he's just so skeptical. So like the conversations get very deep, very interesting because he's just questioning. You know. So he actually had. Did you hear the Tom DeLonge one?
That's an old one.
Yeah. You know Tom DeLonge from Blink.
From Blink.
Yeah, because he's such a crazy.
He
UFO
always
guy.
brings that up too about Tom DeLonge.
Does he?
Yeah. He always brings it up.
Yeah, that was kind of a wild episode too.
Well, that guy is like full bore into UFOs.
Yeah,
he's a total believer.
Yeah, he's got like a whole company now dedicated to making their own like spacecraft that can travel instantaneously through space and time. They got like I don't know.
He's got that. And Jose Canseco, the baseball player, has a thing where you could like pay him several $100s and go out and hunt Bigfoot with him for the weekend.
Oh my god,
it's the weirdest.
Just
thing.
A couple $100? That doesn't seem that
bad. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know the price.
Not that I'm gonna do it. I don't fucking believe in Bigfoot, but that sounds awesome.
I don't know if I want to hang out with Jose Canseco.
I don't know anything about him other than he's a baseball player.
He always struck me as just a kind of a volatile person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'll pass on that.
All right.
In fact, that's a hard pass.
It's a hard no.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that for you for your birthday. I'm like, Steve, you're going to go hunt Bigfoot.
He seems like a guy who just wants to complain about women all the time.
Oh, yeah?
That's the vibe I get from him.
So he's a nice guy is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, good guy. Good man's man.
Yeah. He's a dude's dude.
You know those guys. Oh, just these freaking skirts. You know what I mean? They don't know what the hell. They think they know everything.
It's 1925.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Skit?
Yeah. These clams coming on here thinking they run the show.
These clams. Oh, my God.
Those guys get on my nerves.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
I'm sure, I don't know if you work with any guys like this. I know I haven't in the past. It's the guys who come in, all they do is just bitch about their wives.
Yeah, I don't understand the bitching about the wives thing. It's dude, why'd you get married?
Yeah, it's
man?
like you sound like you married a real asshole.
Yeah, I mean that kind of sucks for you. I know a ton of people, not just like guys I work with, but just like in life, just like they complain like endlessly about their wives. I'm like, dude, you didn't have to get married, man.
Well, what's even weirder than that is the guys who actually have like a nice family and have have a wife and nice kids and a nice house,
and they still complain.
They're miserable.
Yeah, dude,
miserable
I don't get it.
People.
I don't get it.
I never understood that. Like, is it really that bad? Like, I guess to a certain extent, that's the illusion of social media.
Right.
Because if not for that, you have no idea if somebody has a nice family or not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
People are only posting the good stuff that's going on in their lives and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know, man. I've always just done like what makes me happy. You know what I mean? Like I would never like to hear people like spout out about like how miserable like their lives are through actions of like their own. Just kind of boggles my mind.
Well, it's one thing. I mean, everybody has bad days.
Sure.
So it's an entirely different thing for someone to consistently come in and just be miserable.
Yeah. I just kind of feel bad for those guys, you know? I'm
Maybe
sorry.
it's like guys
sorry
are-
you made a bad decision, man. I don't know.
Yeah, really riding it out, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a different generation though, because I guess that's older guys. I don't know. I don't know a lot of younger guys that are miserable like that.
Mm.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
Actually, I know a
that's-
few, but
Yeah.
I know a couple.
It's a fair point. I mean, if you're, if there's these guys who are just kind of going about their lives, meeting expectations,
Mhm.
oh, I'm expected to go to college, and after college, I'm expected to get, this kind of job, and then after that, I'm expected to get married, I'm expected to have kids, and like maybe the whole time he never really thought, like, do I want those things?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm only theorizing what could possibly make someone in that, situation so miserable.
Well, we
you
know. I know there's a lot of people out there just going through the motions.
Sure.
You know, it's exactly like you said. Like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You finish high school, you go to college, and I guess I got to get a job with benefits now.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to think. They don't want you to think. You just go get a job, you pay your bills, and then you die.
Yeah.
That's miserable.
That's kind of a sad existence, man. I couldn't imagine that.
Well, the sad thing is that I'm sure, I know to an extent us and most of the people listening to this are kind of caught in that cycle. We have to work jobs that we might not necessarily love or be super passionate about.
Sure, yeah.
Everybody's got to put food on the table.
We don't always get to do our passions for a living.
Yeah.
And I think few people get to do that. I think the best sometimes you could hope for is, you go to work and you're just not miserable. If you can even remotely enjoy what you do, I think you're winning. You know what I mean?
That should be a bare minimum, but for most people that's a home run if you can do that.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I've been doing my job for, a decade and a half already.
Yeah.
And it's it's starting to get a little old, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if you do anything for too long,
I find that I've put way more focus into this now.
Into the podcast,
yeah.
Right?
Which ideally one day I could do this for a living, but
that'd be nice, right?
Yeah, we're probably a long way off from that.
Yeah, you never know.
Well,
you never know.
You never know. Oh man, that's the thing that did we mention that last time you were here?
I don't know if we ever mentioned that, but the fact that we both experienced that within our each of our families is just priceless, man. I love it.
So what Brian is referring to is anybody that's been in a band has probably gone through this at some point. You tell your family members and some acquaintance, a family friend or something. Oh yeah, I have a band. Like, oh, you guys trying to make it? Like, yeah, you never, one day maybe, or even later on when you join a cover band, when the goal isn't really to make it, the goal is just to book gigs and make some money. They say, oh, you guys write your own stuff. No, we're a cover band. The whole idea is not to write our own stuff. It's like, oh, well, you never know. One day somebody might see you. You might want to sign you.
Yeah, well, no.
Yeah, no, that's not really what we do.
Yep, no, I'm good. I actually do know.
Yeah. Well, no, you never know.
Yeah, that's true. You never know, I guess. I don't know. I was always very offended hearing that growing up because I heard it, also in the cover band, but I also heard it a lot when I was actually going for it. You know what I mean? When I was doing music full time, and I just kept hearing like, oh, well, you never know. And I don't know. I always took offense to that because I was just like, well, I feel like I'm good. I feel like I'm like picking the right bands. I'm doing all the right stuff. I feel like I have a little more assurance than you never know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I'm gambling right now. I feel like I'm working my ass off to try and achieve a goal. And like, X, Y, and Z, is happening. And,
well, most of the people that say that are people that have no idea of the world of that music.
That's
true.
What I mean? That's true. Yeah, they're so far outside of what's going on. So you can't really blame them. I'm just how I felt in the moment. I would take super offense.
Just a nicety.
I'd be like, oh, you fucking asshole.
These people know nothing about metal.
Don't you know nothing?
But getting back to miserable people.
Sure.
Yeah, I get very annoyed with a lot of the stuff that I see because like we were talking about with the Instagram and the marketing
that you see on like social media.
With social media a lot, because one of the things that this show is supposed to be geared towards is helping men, like male betterment.
Right.
But in a positive way. Like, or a male betterment shouldn't come at the expense of other people.
Sure.
I think that's pretty fair. That's not unreasonable.
I agree, man. You got to have a positive outlook.
Yeah. And with a lot of the hashtags, like hashtag masculinity or hashtag manhood and stuff like that, it always links you to some page where it's involving, the name is something involving red pill. There's these guys that act like they're awakened because they think, the feminists are out to destroy the concept of manhood and masculinity, and these guys, you kind of feel like these were a bunch of guys out in the woods talking to God on a two-way radio, or either that or it's a bunch of guys who have never gotten laid in their life. A lot of people, one of the things that just it seethes out of all these posts I see is just resentment towards women.
Right. Given whatever crazy experience they've had, if they're not particularly good looking or they just don't tend to have any luck with women. Yeah, I mean,
it creates a lot of like pent up aggression, I think, in guys.
Sure.
Guys don't have that sexual outlet. You just become angry.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's a lot of guys out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them all the time.
There's a reason the Me Too movement exists to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They had to, take a stand against, what was, considered normal just, 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, too, the stuff that we kind of laughed off back then that now we just look at. Like, the same people looking like, jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did notice about the Me Too is that it made regular people, like regular guys, all of a sudden, pop up and say, oh, well, I don't know if I can do this or act like this. I can't, touch a girl in the back when we're taking a picture. It's like, dude, who do you think you are?
Right.
Like, you're not that important.
Yeah.
Like, number one, if you're worried about false accusations, you have nothing to give these people. They have nothing to extort out of you.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Yeah, I think celebrities pretty much just have to worry about that.
Yeah. And number two,
almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Or
Number
politicians.
two, it's pretty simple. Don't be a creep. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much simpler you can make it than that.
I think if you're a good guy, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah. Why?
If you're out there doing the right thing, you know what I mean? You shouldn't be paranoid that someone's going to accuse you of something. I mean, anything's possible, but like...
One of the problems I think, too, is a lot of guys are just... the energy is misdirected.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of guys, they think that women like persistence. So you see this, women post like their online dating. Like,
that's
nightmares.
that old school mentality, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You always hear stories of like.
The sad thing is that like for every 100 cases, if 2 of them worked, everybody's going to see that. See, it works. See, it works.
I mean, you see
most people just tend to be creeped out by that.
You see it in movies too, like rom-coms, romantic comedies, like guys doing all kinds of extravagant shit to get the girl in the end of the movie. And if he did any of that stuff in real life, it would be fucking creepy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And she'd be scared.
The classic movie, Say Anything.
Sure.
Standing out on her front lawn with a boombox and a trench coat.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, she'd be calling the cops.
Absolutely.
100%.
But that's the thing. Like, those... I mean, we all look at it differently when it's on a theater screen.
Right.
As opposed to when it's in our own front yard.
Mm-hmm.
But it's... Some things that you feel... If you hear about these guys doing weird, creepy shit, I have to think, like... I feel like you shouldn't need to have this explained to you.
Yeah.
Like a normal person doesn't act like this.
Yeah.
And
it comes from somewhere, whether they have a weird relationship with their mother or their dad didn't raise them right. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know where it comes from.
But if you actually try to talk to some guys like this, it's really difficult sometimes because the defenses are up so hard. It's hard to get through to them, even if you're coming from a place of good faith. You know what I mean? Like, you honestly want to help people. You want to point somebody in the right direction.
Sure.
I mean, I know for me, I don't want to see a bunch of angry dudes out there, spend their life jerking off in a darkened room.
No, definitely
And they come out here and they don't know how to talk around a woman.
Would you say these are the same people who catcall?
No. In my experience, guys that catcall are usually guys that can get women that I think they're not shy. They have no shame, and they're literally just playing the odds.
The catcalling, I never ever understood.
I never understood it either. But the guys that do that are usually guys who have more than one woman, who
kind of like womanizers, or like maybe they don't like fully respect women, or look at them as like a lesser.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I've known a handful of those guys, and that seems to be the common thread through all of them.
Yeah, I've definitely known a few, and definitely thought less of them when I found out that they catcalled. And,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I remember calling somebody out one time, too. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, that has never worked for you. It's never worked. It's always creeped them out. I promise you. I can't really remember what he responded to that.
You know what the sad thing is? Like, for every incident, like, to a guy like you or me, we see that, like, what a dick.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like, what do you think is going to
It
happen?
just makes me think less of that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you really think, what do you think is going to happen? She's going to stop and come over and suck your dick?
Yeah.
Come on.
Not happening.
It's never happened in the history of ever.
Yeah. You're just creeping her out. You're making her feel uncomfortable.
You're making the rest of us look like douchebags, too.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the
it
problem
makes
is,
all guys look bad.
as soon as you hear one woman say, like, oh, you know, I know they're assholes, but it is nice to get a little attention, you know? Because I've heard that. I've heard women say that.
Yeah.
Like, most women don't like the catcalls, but all it takes is one woman to say, you know, it is nice to feel, like, attractive.
Yeah, to where it works, and then
Yeah.
word gets
You
out
tell the
probably
wrong
so
person that.
quick. Oh, yeah.
You tell the wrong person that, next thing you know, you have a guy catcalling for life.
Oh, yeah.
He's just going to take that and run with it.
Yep, it worked one time. That's all it takes.
Even though 99 women out of 100 may not like it.
Sure.
Probably don't.
Yep.
That's the problem, is because all it takes is one person to put this idea in someone's head, and it's really hard to get it out of there.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Because you know, that's just people in general.
Yeah, people are stubborn.
Yeah, and
They're
they don't.
set in their ways, you know.
Even if you show them, you know, every example in the world why that's not going to work for them, like, hey, all they got to remember is that one. Well, you know, I've heard it from a reliable source that they like it. You know.
Did you know?
Yeah. The reliable source had a vagina, so that's hence the reliability.
Yeah. Very good.
It's fucked up, man. There's so much bad information out there.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Like,
the internet is a cesspool.
I just saw this thing that somebody shared from Reddit. It was like all these like examples of how women use like toxic behavior and how you can use that behavior against them, and it's like playing games and
Really?
yeah, it's not in the sense where it's like just to go out there and attack them. It's in the sense where it's like you're in a relationship and someone is playing games with you. It's basically how you can play the same games and use them against them.
Oh, God.
It's like, well, number one, if you're playing games, you're headed for
just turn around.
yeah, just
go home.
end it, walk away.
Yeah, that's advice that just doesn't need to be given. You know what I mean?
For men, women alike, if you have to play games in your relationship, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
You're doing it wrong.
100%. Yeah, you shouldn't be playing any games. You should be focused on communication and.
Well, I after seeing that, like I made a little a post I put on Instagram, and it was basically saying that you know, romance shouldn't be approached in the same way you'd approach war. Like you shouldn't come at it with a combative state of mind.
Oh no, not at all.
You know, if you feel like the whole it shouldn't be a power struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that from experience because I've been in that situation where it's like, oh, you can't let the other person see you respond to a text too quick because then they're gonna have the power. They're gonna know they have one up on you.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know, as a
you see
younger
that more
man,
in dating.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
As a younger man, I can understand how it's because like I've been there. You know, I know how you can get caught up in that way of thinking. But it's just there's nothing good can come of it.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna end up unhappy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It might work out for you for a little while, but at some point it's all gonna come crashing down.
Yeah.
And the longer it takes before it does, the worse it's gonna be.
I like the war analogy though, you know, in terms of sides. You can't have sides. It's a team. You know,
Yeah.
you guys are supposed to be on the same team, you know, and you got to
Exactly.
talk about fucking everything. Everything that comes. I mean, that's how I've always approached it, you know.
Honestly, that's the only you're right. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
That above everything else is just talk about everything, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
Yeah, and just don't sit on anything. Don't let things
Yeah.
build up. If something's bothering you, hash it out right then and there. You know, I mean, for the most part, you know, you don't want anything on your chest, you
Yeah.
know, because you're gonna be blowing up at stupid shit, you know.
Exactly, because you know what? I'm guilty of this myself. You avoid those uncomfortable conversations, like, you know, I don't want to have a fight.
Yeah. Do we really need to talk about this right now?
Yeah, but then you end up holding on to it, and then it becomes a bigger fight later.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah. What's this really about?
yeah. Dude, just talk about fucking everything.
Oh, dude, it's so important. It's so important.
It's good. It gets all the bad shit out, all the negativity out, and it strengthens a relationship.
Yeah.
It builds that trust. you have empathy for one another because you really get inside the other person's way of thinking in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's the number one thing you have to do.
Yeah, that's the best thing I think I have going for, me and my wife is just our communication with each other. We approach everything as a team. It's always for, what can we do for us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's straight teamwork. That's what it is.
Well, neither does she doesn't have a temper, right? She doesn't strike me as that kind of
No,
person.
not really.
Because that's the thing that makes it tough when the emotions start running high.
Yeah,
on either person.
She has like stress and like anxiety. And
everybody
stuff.
does, yeah.
So if we're ever arguing, it's about that. If she's bringing too much stuff home, say from work, or she can't just be with me. She's just focused on whatever she's worried about. We'll argue about that stuff, but in the end, it's good because we end up talking more about what's bothering her.
Yeah.
So there's positives to everything.
Well, it's just to letting someone vent. There's almost an art form to that too, because you don't want to sit there and try to solve her every problem. You want to just give her a friendly ear to let her get it all out first.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's one of my biggest weaknesses probably is I'm a problem solver. I fucking always have been. I think I was raised a problem solver. Like someone's got an issue and I'm like immediately thinking positively and we're going to solve it right now. And my wife is not necessarily like that at all. And she'll just want to talk to me and tell me what's going on. And I'll immediately think of 9 ways that we can solve this and fix whatever her problem is, but she doesn't want to hear those things. She just wants to talk to her husband, you know? So that's something that I've been trying to work on. And it's probably an everyday struggle for me, honestly, because I'm like a natural born problem solver.
Well, though, knowing is half the battle. Like once you're aware of that, it makes it a lot easier to to check yourself.
Yeah, well, I literally like have to bite my tongue sometimes because I'm just like, I can't give you a solution right now, and so, like the way I come at it is like, well, what do you want from me?
Yeah, because
like,
feel like you're like a dumbass. You say, oh wow, really? That sucks, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she did
like
what?
I almost feel like I'm empathizing by helping to solve the problem.
Well,
like I want to show her I care. Like I think that's where it comes from. Like
it comes from a good place.
Exactly, that's where I'm coming from. But it's funny you brought that up because that's definitely been like a struggle for us that is reoccurring for sure.
It's tough because it's just obviously men's brains and women's brains work very differently the way we approach the same situation. So one of the things is that I think women really are looking for just empathy in that situation. They're not looking for someone to come in and save the day for them and solve everything. They just want somebody to listen and understand how they feel.
Absolutely.
Because in reality, we all know they're capable of solving it themselves. So they don't need us to step in. They just want us to understand.
And be there for them.
Yeah. Once you look at it from that perspective, I think it gets a lot easier.
Sure.
So I know for me, that was, once I really kind of looked at it that way, I was like, I can get that. Like, that makes sense.
But you do that too? You try and like...
I think all guys, if you really love your wife, if you really genuinely care...
You're going to want to fix what's bothering her.
You want to help them.
Yeah, I think it's a natural thing.
And as men, we want to feel useful. So
definitely.
I'd be honest, I feel very useless when I'm sitting there just going, oh, really? Wow, what a bitch. I can't believe she said that to you.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything. I feel like I'm not helping her, but really, a lot of times I'm just being there for her.
Sure.
That's really all they need.
Yeah.
They don't, like I said, they're fully capable.
Yeah.
They're grown-ups.
They're grown adults.
Yeah.
They got this far without getting run over by a car. They're good.
So it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of ways to screw up.
Definitely.
For me, it's tough because, like I said, I was alone for so long that.
Dude, you were, but no, you dated though.
I mean, like lived alone. Like I never lived with a girl. I've had plenty of girlfriends over the years. It's just
none of them ever.
No one ever lived with me.
Okay.
I had girlfriends that stayed over often,
right,
but never lived there.
Gotcha.
Like 2 or 3 times a week they might stay over, and that was only 1 or 2 that did that.
Did you guys move in together before you were married, or was it not until after?
We got married December 2nd, 2017. December 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. Hope she doesn't listen to this one.
That's not good, man.
Either way. But she officially moved up here right after Christmas. Christmas Day, we moved all her stuff out of Miami.
So that's a lot of new stuff going on there.
Oh yeah, that's a long drive too.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
big adjustments, I'm sure.
It's a huge adjustment, and it took a while to kind of find a holding pattern, so to speak,
Right.
to get everything on an even keel.
Right.
Because
Is that why you're kind of looking to move to
well, no, we're not looking to move far. We just want a better house,
like a bigger house, like more space for everybody? Because now,
well, honestly, we have space for everybody here. That's not even the problem. But it just makes sense. We could use the equity we have in this already to pay off some stuff that we have, and at the same time, if we can get a newer house instead of dumping money into this to fix stuff up,
right?
We kind of killed two birds with one stone.
Sure.
So we pay off some stuff with the equity, and then we already have a new house, so we don't have to dump money in it to upgrade stuff.
Right.
So that's the idea. We just have to get a buyer here.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But
it's a seller's market right now, I think.
Closer to the end of the summer, I think we'll be better off.
Yeah.
'Cause that's when, people want to get the house. They want to get moved in before school year starts. They have kids,
I think that's how it went when we bought our house, although it didn't work out well for us.
Why?
Apparently it was the seller's market, and we got like a horrible interest rate. It was just it was a nightmare, man. But we're in our house. We're happy.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Well, one of the things I want to get something where I have a room so I can make a studio.
That would be cool.
That's the
studio
idea.
room.
That's why there's no photos and no videos of this whole process.
You don't want to show it.
Yeah, Laquan and Rashawn, my friends, were in here, and they have their YouTube channel now. So they had a GoPro, they had like the steady cam with them and stuff. I was like, oh, I didn't know you guys were recording stuff. I'm just sitting here in like sweats and an old T-shirt. This really looks lowbrow here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that now got you thinking like, oh, I want something to show for this too.
Yeah.
A little behind the scenes action.
Plus, I just want a room for myself. I mean, I gave up. I went from being one guy in a 4-bedroom house alone to having no rooms of my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to call it a man cave, but I just want something.
Yeah, dude, I don't like calling it man caves
It
either.
just seems
doesn't that feel
really
weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it almost it feels emasculating.
It does.
Like
it does.
You could put all your stuff over there away from where company's going to be.
Yeah, that was the worst part about buying a house was all the realtors would just be like, ooh, and this is where your man cave's going to go. And I'd be like, all right, whatever.
You know what? I don't want this goddamn house anymore.
Yeah. Can you just can you go away?
John Mulaney. You know him, the comedian?
Yeah, dude,
he has
so
a great
funny.
bit
I
about
love John
realtors.
Mulaney. Yeah.
This room you can, use as an office or maybe a nursery.
You're going to have a baby soon?
Yeah. No, we're not going to have one. Oh, well, you never know.
Yeah.
Here's an on-fire garbage can. Could be a nursery.
Are you guys going to have a baby soon?
Nah, we're good. We got tired. I don't feel like starting over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it really starting over then?
Well, yeah.
You're just adding. You're adding to the love.
Yeah, but
you got your hands full. You feel good?
Yeah, you know what? Because, so here, let me.
Did you ever plan on having kids?
I wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
And I have that chance now.
Yeah.
So here's the way I think, and I've had this discussion with my wife, because Ty is my stepson. If we have a kid now, but it'll be my actual kid, I don't want to feel like I'm going to love the kids differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that could be like a common problem for anybody having multiple kids.
It absolutely is, and I see that. And I don't want to do that because I really love Ty. It's easy for me to say I wouldn't do that, but I don't even want to be in that situation.
Gotcha.
And I would rather be able to focus my energy into him than have to, deal with that conflict. I don't know. I just feel like that'd be a tough one.
Yeah, that's very respectable, though.
Yeah, and one's enough, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
One's enough.
I'm sure. Dude, I was the only child until I was 12 years old. Then my mom had 4 kids, and my dad had 4 kids. So now I have 8 half brothers and sisters.
Jesus.
Only child 12 is 12. Now I have 8. I mean, it's bananas, man.
That is bananas. But I mean, with your dad's side, you didn't live with them.
No.
With your mom's side, you did.
I did, and you saw that house.
Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy.
A lot of kids, man.
Yeah, man. Real fun bringing girls over there.
Yeah.
Just watch Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah.
He'll get you.
Just sit over here next to Tickle Me Brian. That's a joke.
Yep.
We have fun here.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Come down to the basement. You're not creeped out by that.
I mean, remember those days, living with your parents, having to bring girls down
Living
down
in
the
Mom's basement. Yep.
Oh,
That was
God.
my little dungeon down there.
That's so
No
creepy.
windows.
It's so creepy to think about. It's amazing, too, when you're in high school, like, especially with just guys and girls, the things that we just are okay with.
Sure, yeah.
Like, think about it. If you were a girl and some guy's like, oh, come down to my basement and watch movies with me.
I never want to have a daughter. I'd be so freaked out and concerned all the time.
You guys thinking about having kids?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. I don't know how. I don't know when.
Well, I could tell you how.
Well,
Do we have to have the
we've
talk here?
Well,
on
we've
the
been
air?
thinking about adoption.
Really?
Yeah, we've been thinking about adoption.
It's very noble of you.
It's not really noble. We just kind of, or at least I don't look at it like that. We just kind of want to have kids, and we don't necessarily care how we get them. So if we have to steal a baby, we're totally willing to do that. You know, like kidnapping is on the table.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no.
I'm gonna make sure my son stays upstairs for the remainder
Hey,
of this
Tyler.
talk. Yeah.
You ever ride in a Hyundai Elantra?
Yeah.
You ever watch movies
God.
about gladiators?
Well played, sir.
But yeah, I don't know when it's gonna happen.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, I know,
Thinking of all like the gross people out there now.
Oh god, yeah.
As a kid, end up in Uncle Touchy's naked puzzle basement.
Joke is super relevant even today.
You won't wear a shirt and you'll cry. That's a Patton Oswalt joke.
I love Patton Oswalt, man. He's so funny.
Oh God.
King of Queens. Did you see that movie Big Fan? He was in a movie called
I heard
Big
of it.
Fan.
I didn't see
Dude,
it.
it's so fucking weird. You gotta
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah, it's kind of what's that movie with Robert De Niro where he was stalking Wesley Snipes? Did you see that?
The Fan. It's
The
literally
Fan.
called The Fan.
Yeah, dude, it's very much like that, except it doesn't get like creepy at the end. But it's
He had another one. Robert De Niro had another one where it was a similar thing. Only he was a guy, a wannabe late night host, and he was like
King of Comedy.
King of Comedy.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude, great movie. Great
There's
movie.
another weird one.
Oh, it's super weird.
Rupert Pupkin.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man, what a fucking
He's recording jokes and his mom's yelling at him.
dude. Robert De Niro's play. If you really think about it, he's played some of the weirdest roles.
He
Like some of
has.
the people that like just the weirdest psyches.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver is one of my favorite movies, and
Yep.
bro, like just to sit there and see him just talking in the mirror, you know, having like the gun up his sleeve and everything. That whole sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crazy because I could just think about all the people out there that are really just out there, like mentally
Who are-
hanging on
who
by
are
a
like
thread.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just felt that really stuck with me, that movie, because it was just so just on the edge of sanity.
Yeah. All you thought about was, where is this guy?
Yeah, this guy could be anywhere.
How far away am I from him truly?
All those just all the scenes of the people in the back of the cab, like the scene where Scorsese played the guy where he was looking at his wife in the window.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him with a 44 Magnum." Do you know what a 44 Magnum could do to a woman? Do you know I'm gonna shoot her right in the pussy? You know what a 44 Magnum could do to a woman's pussy? That you should see. You should see what a 44 Magnum could do to a woman's pussy. Just like the weirdest thing, and he's just sitting there, kind of like adjusting the mirror. Like, you must think I'm pretty sick, huh? You
Uh-huh.
must think I'm pretty sick. Just, dude, maybe I'm fucked up. I just like weird shit like that.
Dude, I do too, man. My
Just like-
wife asks me all the time, why do you like this? Why do you like this movie? Why are you watching this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because it's good. I like it because it's good. I mean, I sometimes I don't have an answer. Like, I don't know why certain things are entertaining to me. You know? I don't know why I watch some of the movies I watch. Like, I love The Exorcist. And she's like, why do you, like, she's like, that's like fucking evil and weird.
Yeah.
Like, why would you like that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really have a good answer. It's just like, I like things that affect me, you know?
Yes. I like things that take me for a ride.
Yes, exactly. I like seeing different worlds. You know, I kind of, I get fully immersed in movies, and I get that from, being a little boy and being shy and quiet, and I'd sit there with my dad and we'd watch movies, and I'd be in another place. You know what I mean? And that has always stuck with me. You ever have those friends growing up who you couldn't watch a movie with?
Yeah.
Like they didn't watch
Yeah.
movies the same way you did. Not that like we're like on some
Well, no, like,
fucking pedestal where we like
But
are.
we like movies.
Yes.
So we watch a movie to watch the movie, even if we've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big like that, and my wife and Tyler aren't like that.
Really?
Tyler talks through the whole movie, and it
Get
drives
out
me
of
crazy.
town. Oh,
And
my God.
Betty gets mad at me because I constantly like, Ty, we're watching a movie, quiet. Throughout the whole movie, I have to keep doing this. And she's like, baby, could you just stop? I'm like, he won't stop. He won't stop. It's not my fault.
He should like this.
Yeah. And dude, it's tough because that's the biggest friction point for us.
Wow.
Is watching movies.
Yeah, and it's such a big part of your life,
I
you
know.
know? That's wild. That's wild. Yeah,
I have to like.
he's got time.
I know. I have to bargain with him. You know what it is? He's a motor mouth. He likes to talk.
Sure.
He can't help himself.
Yeah, and that's not such a bad thing, honestly. Like in life, to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, shit. Like he was like right up there, like, you know, saying hi to me. I mean, just for a kid his age to even be able to like talk to adults, I feel like in today's day and age he's got a leg up against like other kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to teach him just that. It's one thing to talk a lot. It's another thing to talk so much that people don't take what you say seriously.
Yeah.
So that's
And that comes with time and age,
we'll get there.
you
We'll
know.
get there.
But I'm just saying, just him being able to talk and being comfortable and not afraid to talk to adults, you know. And I mean, that's pretty huge. If he can keep that up and kind of hone in on that as he gets older, I mean, he's going to have a huge advantage, especially over kids, you know, with his generation.
Well, he wants to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So he every time I see him, he's playing a game on his iPad. He'll be talking to himself and like narrating as if he's already on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've heard.
Like, Ty, who are you talking to?
I've heard about kids doing that nowadays.
I'm practicing. Like, Jesus Christ,
You
bro.
know the cameras aren't always on you though, right?
Yeah.
Just as long as you know, it's okay to have a channel.
Yeah, that's not how they play when nobody's watching. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the movies are the biggest thing. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my father-in-law, he'll watch a movie like that with me.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a guy thing.
I don't know. I mean, that's something that immediately attracted me to my wife. It was that she could watch a movie, and she could watch a movie very, very well. I was thoroughly impressed. She wasn't like, you know, that much of a movie buff when we got together, but she loved watching movies. And then, of course, I had to show her all the classics. I'm like, oh, you've never seen this, you've never seen that. So like the first, I don't know, 6 months to a year of our relationship was me just showing her
Catching her
Goodfellas,
up on the
Casino, and
Yeah.
all these movies she, you know, doesn't want to see, but you know, now she could say she knows them.
All the staples in every guy's collection.
Exactly.
We did the same thing.
Yep, Pulp Fiction. You know, you got to go through it all.
I got my wife now able to watch some horror movies, just scary movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the movie Hereditary?
Yes.
Holy,
I love it.
All right, can we just talk about this?
Dude,
Because you're the first person I've asked that's actually seen the damn movie.
Dude, of course I've seen the movie.
Oh
I mean,
my God,
yeah,
bro,
we should open with that. I mean, come on,
Dude, I watched that on the plane coming back from Paris.
Rocked my fucking world, dude.
Dude.
I was so pleased that they are making horror movies of that caliber today. I mean, to me, that's Exorcist level. That is, I mean, it's
100%.
right up there.
Easily one of the scariest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. That director is actually coming out with a new movie.
Midsummer.
Yeah, I can't
I'm
wait.
waiting. I'm counting down the days.
I cannot wait. And I think Hereditary, I don't know if that was his first movie. He's like a newcomer.
Yeah.
Like he's not.
I think it was his first.
He hasn't been around that long.
First time taking the reins, directing a movie by himself.
Okay.
As far as I know, I might be off. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? But
Yeah, he hit a home fucking run with that. I mean, dude, that movie affected me. You know what I mean?
So, it's a spoiler alert for anybody listening. So just in case we get into the guts of this movie, dude, the scene when the girl got killed.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
In the back of the car. Yeah,
dude, I was on a plane sitting between people watching that. It fucked me up. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I had to pause it and take my headphones off. And I looked at Betty. She was like right on the aisle. I was like, holy shit. She's like, what? I was like, this movie is fucked up.
Yeah. I had a feeling the first time I watched it that I was in for a treat because it's one of those movies where it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
And sometimes that, you know, it's not
It's
always
not
it's
that
not always a
slow.
guarantee. It is and it isn't. You know, I mean, it depends what you're looking to get out of it. You know, your casual horror fan, you know, they're gonna need more than that.
Yeah, I mean,
they're gonna need
it's not
more
like a
than,
slasher flick.
Exactly, they're gonna need more than that movie gives you. I think some of the best horror movies out there is a slow burn, or at least, I mean, look at The Sixth Sense, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Exorcist. I mean, those movies. It takes a while for stuff to really start happening, but during that slow burn, I mean, there are some choice things that happen, and you just know that there's something different about this movie that you're in for a treat. I got really excited at certain scenes.
I heard like rave reviews from like real critics and real horror fans because I'm not really a horror movie guy.
No, neither am I. I'm just a movie guy. I have no preference. I have no preference to genres. I love everything from romantic comedies to horror movies to thriller. I mean, dude, there's nothing I won't watch if it's good, you know? My main requirement is it basically just has to affect me, you know?
That one affected me deeply.
Because I always open myself up to have an experience, you know? I'm there, I'm with it, it's, you know, I'm ready for the ride. So, you know, I get really bummed out and disappointed when I don't like a movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh, God, man. Yeah, I want to like things, you know? I go in with such an open mind. But, yeah, Hereditary was just, dude, knocked it out of the park. I mean, there's been some decent horror movies that's come out over the past couple years. What do you think of like the Insidious movies and like Conjuring?
I liked Insidious 1 and 2. I didn't see the third part. Conjuring, I love the first one.
Yeah, I thought
that one was.
I thought they did a nice
shit.
job. I was really a fan of what's his name? The director, James Wu.
James Wan.
James Wan.
Yeah.
He was just doing old school stuff, and it wasn't all that common. You know, it was what was common for the time was like jump scares.
Yeah. Well, there's jump scares in that movie.
Some, but not really. You know, typically what's scary about those movies, it's what's right in front of you, and that's what I love most about like horror. You know, you look at like The Sixth Sense, like there's not a whole lot of there's not like jump scares in that movie. What's scary is what's actually if you really think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you like. The whole scene, I know, in The Conjuring. Spoiler alert again if you haven't seen that. If you haven't seen that, go fuck yourself.
It did pretty well at the box office. Yeah. You've seen it.
They've had a few sequels at this point.
Yeah.
But
I think it has a universe now, the Conjuring universe, as they say.
Like,
well, it's spawned like Annabelle and...
Yeah. Well, that's all also based on Ed and Lorraine Warren, like the two.
Yeah. Yep.
They were the ones who investigated the Amityville horror and all that stuff. That's all part of the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing with the lady... the witch, whatever she was, the Satan worshiper in the house, Bathsheba Sherman. Like, and then whenever they showed her, they made her look so fucked up and creepy. Where it's like, it's not even that she's jumping out at you; it's just to see her
is terrifying.
Yeah.
I thought those movies. I thought they did a pretty nice job, but Hereditary, next level.
Yeah, definitely,
hands down. So
and you know what is phenomenal acting too.
Yes. Oh my dude, everybody in that movie was phenomenal, dude. The girl who plays. Like the little kid, you know, the car scene.
Charlie.
Yes. She had the craziest look. I see the cover and I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, she's got a very interesting looking face.
Yeah.
Almost creepy in that, you know, well, they make her look extra creepy.
Like this scraggly hair and stuff.
Yeah, but she kind of, you know, in her face, she kind of looks like that naturally. I looked her up.
Yeah. She's
very interesting, but that was like that was her first movie.
That's her first one. It was Millie Shapiro. That's her name.
Is that her name?
I'm pretty sure Millie Shapiro.
She did a phenomenal job.
She was good.
I couldn't freaking believe it, man. I mean, everybody in that movie was phenomenal. And then you have who played the mom? She's
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette, also in The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Go figure. She's in two of like the best horror movies.
Yeah.
How funny is that? You know, to be able to say that like two of like the most iconic. I don't know if Hereditary has reached an iconic status. In my mind, it has, but it's certainly not like The Sixth Sense. I think that was pretty universally popular.
Oh, no, we're good. The screensaver came up. Sorry.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, but like when I first saw The Conjuring, I watched that alone in my apartment on my couch with the lights off.
Oh, so you were freaked out?
I was freaked out.
Yeah.
So I was freaked out watching that. When I watched Hereditary, I was on a plane surrounded by people in the daytime. And I was more freaked out watching that.
Yeah. What did you watch it on? Like a laptop or
no,
like
like on the TV, like the airplane TV.
So
like on the back of the seat.
Super small screen. Then.
Yeah.
Wow. For that to like, damn.
I don't know. Like I knew that it was going to be good. I didn't know what to expect in terms of like the story and you know the content of the movie. Just the way there was a few, like the twists in that movie, where the friend that she met at the support group ended up being part of like that cult.
Oh. God,
there's
just everything about that movie is good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Everything is good, and it's funny. I've specifically recommended that movie on several occasions because every now and then I'll get a text from a friend or family member because they know I'm a movie buff. So if they're looking for a specific type of movie, they'll shoot me a quick text like, "Hey, like I need a comedy right now. I need a horror movie, whatever." And I'll always, I for recommendations, I like to throw out my best stuff. You know what I mean? My best recommendations. And Hereditary, I found that with like non-movie watchers, like people who basically don't watch movies like us, they're not very responsive to it.
I think some people it's almost too much.
I've recommended it a couple times and have received less than stellar feedback. And
Really?
I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm not quite offended, but I'm just like, well, I don't understand why you don't like it. No, but the movie's perfect.
I've seen the movie. It's nothing but things to like.
Yeah. Did you watch it wrong? I'm trying to think.
You were high when you watched it. You didn't receive it properly.
Yeah. I just don't understand.
You know what? Here's something I watched that really got to me. It's called When They See Us. It's on Netflix right now. It's a 4-part series about the Central Park Five.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it on Netflix. Haven't watched it yet.
Oh man, it's just like heart wrenching.
Yeah, I saw a documentary about it. It's not a documentary, right? It's like a feature film.
It's a 4-part show, so to speak, a mini series.
I've seen a documentary about that case, which it's depressing as hell. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly very interesting.
Honestly, if you want something that's gonna make you feel something, make you go through something, I highly recommend it. Just for the sake of seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it takes a lot for me to cry in a movie. I was open, actually crying.
Yeah.
That fucked me up, man.
Jesus.
And I knew the story already.
Do you cry often watching movies?
No.
Really?
No. I mean, definitely the older I get, the more frequent it is.
Yeah.
I mean, still sporadic, but it happens now.
Movies are just about the only thing that can make me cry.
Yeah,
these
me
days,
too, for sure.
Yeah.
And
I don't go full on sobbing, but all the tears will well up and I'll be like, yeah.
It's at some point you just have to let them go because as much as we fight to hold them back, that's how you get cancer, man.
Yeah,
just
God,
let it go.
I know, right, dude? Yeah, I'm definitely not afraid to cry, but it's just when you're so used to keeping your emotions in check, especially the job I work, you know what I mean? It's weird.
Oh yeah,
working it for a couple of years, you definitely find yourself just holding back in situations that you normally wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are just some things that I never thought I'd get used to. You know what I mean? And that definitely it affects you in strange ways, like when you would normally cry, like if someone dies. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I could well up some tears. You know what I mean? It's the strangest thing.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I've been reading about this whole idea of masculinity as a culture. So some of the things that as men that we're taught to value, certain qualities we're taught that real men should embody. You should be this stoic nature where you want to not show emotion. You want to keep that stuff inside. That's not for everybody else to see. You want to be strong and dominant and all these different things. That's fine, but there's certain emotions that are very human and natural.
Yeah.
That we're taught that we're not supposed to have. You can't show weakness. You can't. You can't be gentle. That's not a thing. Softness is not something associated with masculinity. And even now, I'm thinking men are supposed to be tough and hard. But what we do essentially is we end up cutting off very human things that should be natural, that are natural for us.
And pretty soon you can't do it at all.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that comes from in history. Obviously, men had to be that. The world was a very different place. Where legitimately being a little bit weak could get you killed. And
sure.
Your family's survival basically
you're like the
depended on it.
hunter gatherer.
Yeah. So that was all it's almost like we evolved to have that and to cut off that part of ourselves. The problem is that in the world we live in today, that's just not the case. In the civilized world, you don't have. It's not always a kill or be killed situation.
Sure.
So what eventually happens is that we're still in this same old culture of masculinity, this whole idea of what manhood is. And it's the world has changed, but we're still doing the old way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are people
So
out
it's
there
like-
still doing the old way. I mean,
Yeah, it's like
I
we're
I like to think we're progressing a little bit, but
No, we are, but I feel like we still have a ways to go.
oh, definitely.
You know, and it's not that I'm not saying that men have to be, you know, this whole idea of like beta males and all this stuff, like these soft and, you know, emotional guys. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying there's more than just being able to feel anger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's more to it. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody gets angry. It's not a exclusive emotion to males.
Real men cry.
Yeah. Your manhood shouldn't be invalidated just by showing other emotions. And that's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, you can do all this stuff. You can still be strong. You take care of your family. You want to protect people. That's a masculine thing.
There are all different kinds of ways to show and express your own unique style of masculinity. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
I mean,
could
listen,
be
not everybody's a big masculine man. That's fine.
sure. Yeah,
But it's also not something that we have to look down upon. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you evil.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I feel like that we kind of need to reevaluate what we're teaching boys.
Sure.
You know, we want boys to be able to function in the world we live in today.
Less extremes. You know, I think when you know, you're talking about this old school mentality, you know, guys don't cry, they have to be, you know, I think that's just such an extreme, you know what I mean? And I think anything that's wrong with the world today, it exists somewhere within that level of extremeness. You know
There's
what I
a lot
mean?
more gray.
Exactly. You know, the world is, you know,
It's not just there's 2 times where it's acceptable to cry.
Exactly.
At funerals and at the Grand Canyon.
the world is not black and white, and a lot of the anger you see going on, like, you know, politically or just it could be anything. A lot of these arguments, I feel, you know, just from the outside looking in, they stem from people who are coming up with very extreme solutions to non-black and white problems.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're not going to succeed that way.
Well, it's that old saying, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Right.
So you can't hammer everything. It's not the only tool in your toolbox.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
There you go.
Oh, man. Oh, I hit something.
Uh-oh. That burp really just ricocheted.
Yeah, that was powerful. You hear that?
I do hear that. It sounds like a helicopter.
Oh, there it goes.
Fixed it.
Yeah, it's good quality cables I got here.
Yeah, nothing but the best here at APodAmongstMen.
Yeah, that's it's something I'm trying to be mindful of with Ty. I want to teach him how to be a man, how to be able to care for himself and be able to stand up for himself and not be too soft. You know, the world can be a very tough, unforgiving place.
Yeah.
And you can't, you know, you don't want your kids to be ill prepared for that.
It's good to see how much thought you're giving, you know, the task at hand. You know what I mean? Just the idea, you know, first of all, huge props to you for, you know, becoming a stepfather and just
Thank you.
literally leaping into that role, you know, with open arms is, you know, commendable. But to be given this much thought, you know, about like, hey, like I have an opportunity here to, you know, shape a young man and, you know, have him go out into the world and contribute something, you know what I mean? And not just spread, you know, this bullshit that's been going on for generations and, you know what I mean? Making guys look bad, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's very commendable. You know, I hope there's more guys out there like that who, you know, kind of step up, you know, with whether it be, you know, their kids or, you know, there's obviously a ton of stepdads out there. You know?
One thing that makes me happy, to put a positive light on the whole social media thing, there's a lot of dads out there, a lot of guys really taking fatherhood seriously. You know, and shout out to 36 Chambers of Fatherhood. Shout out to Shadadigans. A couple other
Shadadigans, I like that.
A couple other like fatherhood podcasts. And, you know, guys are actually, you know, give a shit. Not just the dad, you know, works, comes home, cracks a beer, and goes to bed.
Goes on autopilot.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't have that mentality. Oh, well, it happened to me, so this is how it's going to happen for you.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, I'm happy you said it like that. A lot of one of the things that's passed down throughout the generations is trauma. You know, think of like guys.
I went through this, so
think of guys who have went through horrible shit in the past, whether it be war or abuse or violence and all this terrible stuff. It fucks you up. You know, like that's why look at soldiers coming back with PTSD.
Yeah.
There's a reason that exists, because trauma affects people. And if it goes, you know, if you don't work on it, if you don't at least attempt to fix it, what you end up doing is passing on your pain to the people around you.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times is your family, your children, your spouse, whatever.
Yep.
And that becomes their trauma. And then they don't know how to deal with it or how to work on it, and they end up passing it down to their kids.
And you didn't give them the tools to deal with it. You know,
Exactly.
It's just a seemingly never-ending cycle.
Yeah. And whether or not you recognize that it's trauma or not, like, it affects you, and it affects the way you interact with everybody in your entire life.
Yeah.
And essentially, some of these ideas we have about what it is to be a man come from generations of trauma passed down from father to son.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fucked up to really think about it. Like, if we don't, at somewhere along the line, it's going to have to get worked out, or we're just going to keep doing the same dumb shit over and over.
Yeah.
Like, listen, it's not everything we do is bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying there is shit we do that's been normalized that is not really good, not constructive, not
shouldn't
helpful.
necessarily be normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to, at some point, someone's going to have to say, hey, maybe we should rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I respect that. I mean, for me, you know, until I have kids, it's all like, you know, my wife and I, we talk about it all the time. Like, oh, like, how are we going to approach this? We try and think of scenarios like now. We don't even have kids yet, but we know we want to be parents. So, you know, we think about, like, what kind of kids we want to send out into the world, you know, how we're going to raise them, how we're going to, you know.
It's one thing to plan. It's another thing to actually do it.
We say that all the time, too.
Best laid plans often.
We're always running scenarios, and we're like, well, what's going to happen when it's, like, actually going on? You know, I feel kind of lucky because, like I said, my mom started having kids again when I was 12. I helped out a lot around the house. I was around babies. I was changing diapers. You know, I was overweight in middle school. Not that I didn't have any friends, but I wasn't doing much. You know what I mean? I was at home a lot, and I just, you know, I helped out. I thought it was really cool to be around a baby, and you know, and we were really close. You know, I was very close to my brother, you know, especially. I feel like I helped raise him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had that with my little sister, my sister Lexi.
Yeah.
I was 10 when she was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have so many crazy family similarities. It's wild.
That's why we get along, man.
Yeah, I like it. Both bald, you know? Although you get to keep your beard 24/7. I like that.
Yeah.
I wish I could have
It's almost
my beard.
encouraged nowadays.
Is it?
Yeah. Everybody's got a fucking beard. Everybody's got a beard in a podcast.
Yeah.
So, even Drew's copying me in some way. He got glasses. Who went out to dinner last night?
He doesn't have glasses.
They're not prescription.
Oh, he's wearing like...
yeah, he's got the fakers.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he's got like the weird ones where it's just like the top rim. You know what I mean? They look like
Oh,
semi-rimless.
Yeah, yep.
I told him, like, you look like you moonlight as a freelance reporter for the Drudge Report.
That's like that kind of like that like nerdist you know.
Yeah.
That's like styles popular.
Nerd chic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
I showed up with like aviators and a Hawaiian shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, like, I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, what are you doing tonight? You going out solving crimes with your black friend who flies a helicopter in Hawaii? You know, Tom Selleck and Magnum PI.
Sure.
That's what I looked like. That's what I felt like I looked like. All right, what do you say we put a pin in it? We're already at past an hour and a half.
All right, man. This
Hey.
felt good.
Bro, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, man.
I like the fact that we had this one where there was no set plan.
Yes. Yeah.
That's been a nice change up because everything I've done for the last while.
Yeah, you've had
been
like an
very-
idea of where you want to
Yeah.
go with it. Dude, sometimes I just like sitting down and just like seeing where things go, you know?
Well, I'm glad that we were able to do it too because I was a little nervous. I was like, I didn't know how this one was going to work out.
Yeah,
But
dude, we got shit to talk about, man. It's all
yeah.
good.
Well, it's good because once this one was a lot more natural because if we went on a tangent, we could just go with it.
That's true. And you and I especially tend to go on a lot of tangents.
Yeah.
Because we're like, you know, we're talking about like ice cream and then we're like, oh, hey, look, a movie.
Yeah. I watched a movie about ice cream one time.
Yeah. So-and-so was in that movie. Oh, really?
The true story of Ben and Jerry.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to give any shout outs? Anything regarding
shout out
the
to my
band?
wife. Love you, baby.
Anything about the band?
Kisses.
Yeah. Hey, Nicole, thanks for supporting us as well.
Yes.
We love you.
Yep. Shout out to the band. Seconds to Say. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And just came out with a single. It's on iTunes and all the wherever you stream shit. And then we're recording now too, so we got new music coming out. I sing in the band, so that's a good or a bad thing depending on who you ask. So I don't know. We're pretty good.
We're making moves. So
yeah. I've been called the songbird of my generation. So
go check them out. Seconds to Say on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
At Seconds to Say, right?
At Seconds to Say.
Seconds, as in, can I have seconds?
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that is weird. People ask is it seconds? Is it not like a funky spelling? No, it's straightforward.
Yeah, just common spelling.
Yeah, go check them out. What genre would you describe it as?
I label it as alternative rock, but I don't fucking know.
Good enough.
I like Jimmy Eat World. I like Foo Fighters. I like Blink-182.
Perfect. If you like those bands, you like this.
Maybe.
Maybe. Give it a shot. You never know.
Don't hold us to that.
You never know.
Yeah. You never know. You should title this episode, You Never Know.
I want to make it something a little more provocative than that. So should I listen to this? Yeah, you never know.
There's a reason why I don't have a podcast.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, you know where to find us. APodAmongstMen@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or concerns. APodAmongstMen on Instagram and Twitter. Search us on Facebook. Also, we're there. All these episodes are available to download wherever you get your podcasts: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and all those other good apps. We're not on iHeartRadio yet. For whatever reason, they won't accept the podcast.
I don't know anything about iHeartRadio.
Yeah, I don't know how many people really listen on iHeartRadio. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But yeah, hit us up. Give us some fucking feedback. Ask us some questions. The Instagram response has been pretty good. Send us some emails. Ask questions. We'll talk about it.
Sure.
So yeah. Well, until next week, people. Peace out.
So long.
Gotta get a good catchphrase, man.
Yeah, I'm working on it.